You might be wondering, Ian, why do you have that awful beard? I thought you were the awful mustache man. 1, because it's No Shave November, and 2, because I'm not shaving until the Patriots lose. What an awesome week for sports. I thought Patriots fans were the most hyped fan base after Sunday, but Dallas Maverick fans must be even more ecstatic after Tuesday's news, and I cannot blame them. We will go over all of that craziness first, and then I bet we'll get into what's been happening in MLB since the World Series ended. This insane week of college football, and quite possibly the game that locked up Coach of the Year for Mike Vrabel. Rivalry week is this week for the Pats, so you know we had to rock the Rivalries jersey and the Rivalries hat. This is number 180 of HN'P. Recorded in central Pennsylvania in front of a live studio audience with your host Ian DiCarlo, this is Hoagies and Pierogis. All right, you know we wouldn't be going over basketball first if it wasn't huge news. NICO Harrison has been fired. I repeat, NICO has been fired. After trading Luka, getting booted out of the play-in tournament by the Grizzlies last year, lucking into Cooper Flagg, and starting the season 3-8 with relentless chance of fire NICO that made it harder to play at home than on the road, according to multiple Mavericks personnel, the Mavs have decided to fire NICO Harrison. This was way overdue. Someone on Twitter was like, well, damn, don't you feel bad for him? He has a wife and kids. Not only did Luka have a family and lost out on over $160 million by being traded, NICO reportedly fired a member of the staff while he was with his dying mother in the last days of her life. What a piece of shit. I do not feel bad at all. Like, seriously, I can now confidently say that NICO trading Luka would be like Pats GM Elliott Wolf trading Drake May and keeping his job for the next QB that they draft. It didn't make any sense to not fire NICO earlier. I truly believe if they didn't get the number 1 pick in the lottery, NICO would have been fired then. He would have been completely untrustworthy to take anyone besides Flagg. No one would have skipped on Flagg, but if anyone were going to do it, it would have been NICO. They're probably really happy he didn't. So yes, Mavs fans can rest easy, sit back and relax, enjoy Cooper Flagg with a new GM. All right, MLB. So after the World Series ends, free agency officially starts basically the next day. And man, players are getting picked up and dropped in MLB the exact same way that I pick up and drop free agents in fantasy. Oh, I picked up the Raiders defense at 10 a.m. They get dropped for another defense 2 hours later just because I'm second guessing myself, or I didn't see that free agent was available when I picked up the first one. So there hasn't been a lot of free agent movement yet. The only big opt out of their contract that no one expected was that Shota Imanaga is a huge addition to the free agent pool, and he was already signed by the Dodgers. But yes, he opted out of his contract with the Cubs decided to not pick up his 5th-year player option, and that basically gave Imanaga the option to either opt out right then or wait around another year. And then a bunch of qualifying offers were given out. Kyle Tucker with the Cubs, Kyle Schwarber, Bo Bichette, Framber Valdez, Dylan Cease, Ranger Suarez, Edwin Diaz, Zach Gallen, Imanaga, like we said, and then Michael King, Trent Grisham, Gleyber Torres, and Brandon Woodruff. So since the Cubs offer that qualifying tender to Imanaga, a team will have to give up their, I believe, first-round draft pick to sign him. So no one's going to do that. I mean, I know there were some names on here that Pirates fans were hoping that they could get, like Bo Bichette, but not now that they put that qualifying offer on him. Now, there are reports that agents have been told the Pirates would like to be aggressive in free agency, along with the Marlins. So we'll see what happens, and that's at least more than any indication that we had last year. But Mitch Keller is also reportedly on the trading block, so I might go Luigi on Nutting and Charrington if the return is anything less than an everyday staple in the lineup. You need an everyday bat if you're going to be trading Keller. That's just way too much to give up for prospects at this point. You need major league contribution and productive major league contribution. So yeah, free agency, very slow. Now, let's get into the news that everybody has been talking about this past week. Class and Ortiz, Emmanuel Class and Luis Ortiz. So they were arrested last week. Last I heard, Ortiz was in custody, but Class wasn't. So they were caught betting on a per pitch basis whether it would have been a ball or a strike. And then Emmanuel Class threw a changeup that someone swung on, and he, I guess his friend texted him, "Rip," like that was supposed to be a ball. He wasn't supposed to swing at that at all. And Class was like, "Yeah, man, like I'm sorry, like that wasn't supposed to happen." You would think that these guys are doing it for millions upon millions of dollars, right? Putting their careers at jeopardy? Nope. It has been reported that Luis Ortiz took one $5,000 payment, and Class was the facilitator of getting this payment done. MLB made a deal with sportsbooks to only allow a maximum of $200 to be placed on per pitch bets, like over under a certain velocity or a ball or strike, with no ability to parlay them. Now, I just told you that Ortiz threw away his career for $5,000. Lowering the maximum to $200 is not going to do anything. They would have thrown it away for however much that gets you on one of these pitches. I mean, if they were going to do it for that small of an amount, they were going to do it at any point, whether the maximum bet be $200 or not. It just really does not make sense to me, especially Class. And apparently these have been going on since 2023. So what happened in between 2023 and now? That's right, Class blowing those games against the Yankees in the playoffs last year, and him taking a video of all of his awards being like, "Yeah, man, I'm good." Like, he had to have been making some extra money on the side from these bets to be that confident after losing, after being the sole reason your team lost in the playoffs last year. How could you be so comfortable posting that online? Like, "Yeah, I got all my awards, I'm good." No, he was good for a different reason. He just made, I want to say he made obviously way more than Ortiz ever did. It seems like Ortiz was kind of just roped into this after the fact, after Class had been doing it for so long, because Ortiz was only on the Guardians for a little bit. He was sent over in the Spencer Horwitz trade. It was like a three-way trade. But yeah, that just sucks, and it does not, like I said, make any sense for either of them to throw away their careers for that. And MLB putting a little Band-Aid on it, coming up with this stupid maximum $200 bet, it's not going to do anything. Literally nothing. So we will go over all of the MLB awards next week, but by the time this episode goes up on Thursday morning, Skeens will have won his first Cy Young. And I don't even want to hear anything about the comment that another Pirates player made in regards to Skeens telling him he wants to play for the Yankees so bad. It really does not match up with the type of person or player that he's been so far. So that is a complete nothing burger. All right, college football. Let's go over these games. Ohio State obviously just crushed Purdue. Julian I think he wrapped up the Heisman with this one. 27 for 33 with 303 yards and a touchdown. I know that it was against Purdue, but that's probably one of his best games that he's played all year. All right, Indiana at Penn State. God damn it, Penn State. One of my friends brought it up that he would have been like, man, if Penn State were like 8-1 or 7-2, like where they should be at right now, this loss to Indiana would have had him throwing shit. Oh, I would have been mad if Penn State lost this game and they were 8-1. But I mean, right when Omar Cooper caught that pass, immediately I was like, oh my God, he got his foot down. No fucking way. Just for the sheer magnitude of the moment and the way he, I don't know. A lot of people are saying that he floated that first foot. I really think that first foot tapped before it started floating over out of bounds. Because how else would it be able to do that? Indiana escaped Penn State and they won 27-24. Texas A&M killed Mizzou without Prabula. Alabama took care of business in LSU. They won 20-9. Rip to all the bettors in that one because LSU was minus 10.5. They lost by 11. Georgia killed Mississippi State. Ole Miss killed the Citadel, obviously. And is that the only university with "the" in the title? The Citadel. Big disappointment here. BYU shit the bed against Texas Tech. Actually, the first drive, they were doing fine. BYU's defensive line was wrecking Texas Tech's offensive line on the first drive. But then they punt the ball, BYU muffed the punt, and that was the end of it. Texas Tech won 29-7, with BYU's only touchdown coming in the fourth quarter. Oregon really just squeaked by Iowa in this one. It was 2-0 for the whole first quarter. And then it was raining so bad the whole game. And Oregon won 18-16. Got the field goal to walk it off. Did Oregon deserve to win that game? I don't know. I really don't think so. I think Iowa should have beat them. Notre Dame wrecked Navy. And here we got two huge losses. What did I tell you last week I was going to do? I told you I was going to put $10 on Pitt to win the ACC. They just got their ticket to the ACC championship game. Pitt has found themselves in contention for the ACC championship game. Virginia lost to Wake Forest 16-9. Virginia only scored 9 points, all three from 3 field goals. And then Louisville lost to Cal in overtime, 29-26. Pitt did not play this week, but that was a godsend for them, both Virginia and Louisville losing. Vanderbilt beat Auburn in overtime. They were down 20-10 at halftime, so that was a pretty good comeback, 45-38 from Vanderbilt. Miami took care of Syracuse, 38-10. And then Wisconsin actually upset Washington, 13-10. All right, rankings. No more AP poll. The only reason I did the AP poll last week is because the rankings were not out for college football yet. But I am doing this on Wednesday this week. So here we go. Numbers 1 through 5, same exact thing. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, Alabama, Georgia. And then Texas Tech moves up to 6, almost moves down to 7, just because they were playing the Citadel and Texas Tech beat BYU. Oregon actually moved up 1 to number 8, Notre Dame number 9, Texas 10, Oklahoma 11, and then BYU down 5 spots to number 12. After Virginia and Louisville lost, everyone basically moved up here except for Utah, who stays put at 13 because Virginia was 14, Louisville was 15. Vanderbilt 14, Miami 15, Georgia Tech 16, USC 17, and then Michigan 18 there with Virginia and Louisville behind them. And then Iowa only moved down 1 spot to number 21, only losing by 2 points to Oregon. I actually wouldn't have been surprised if Oregon was below Notre Dame and Texas, just because the playoff committee has such a hard-on for Texas. So then after Iowa, it's Pittsburgh there, 22. They moved up just because everyone else lost this week. Tennessee there at 23, South Florida 24, and Cincinnati at 25. But let's look at this bracket. What the hell is going on here? So we got your 1 seed Ohio State, your 2 seed Indiana, your 3 seed Texas A&M, 4 seed Alabama. And then this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So South Florida is in the lead in the American League right now. It was Memphis last week. South Florida 7-2. They'd be going up against Georgia. So nothing has changed there. Georgia's still the 5 seed. They'd be going up against the worst opponent. Georgia probably wants to keep that 5 seed. That would be extremely beneficial for them. And then now that Notre Dame is 9, Oregon is 8. And then somehow they have Miami at number 11 because they have them as the projected ACC champions. There's not even a way that Miami could get to the ACC championship. What the fuck is the committee smoking? This doesn't make any sense at all. They'd be going up against Texas Tech, who's projected to win the Big 12, and then Texas and Ole Miss there are the at-larges at number 7 and 10. How? Right now, Georgia Tech is leading the ACC, and then behind them is Pitt, behind them is Virginia. So how do you have Miami winning the ACC when they're not even in top 4 in the conference? I don't agree with this one at all. Top 4, top 5 spots, sure. Top 6 spots, Texas Tech there at 6, I'm totally fine with that. Ole Miss, all right. 8 Oregon, sure. 9 Notre Dame, whatever. 10 Texas, I don't like that. But then Miami and South Florida, how do you even have Miami? That doesn't make any fucking sense. First team out would be Oklahoma. Second team out is BYU right now. Miami should not be on this bracket. Actually, I'm just dumbfounded that they're even on there. All right, so what do we got on the docket for week 12 here? Louisville at Clemson at Louisville, South Carolina at Texas A&M. Notre Dame is going to be at Pittsburgh, and game day is going to be in Pittsburgh. I will be going to game day, so look for the Patriots jersey. I might wear this one, but I'm probably going to wear the Red Gonzo one. Probably the bigger ranked-on-ranked matchup this week, but they've already been to Alabama this season. College Game Day has. It's going to be Oklahoma at Alabama for a 3:30 kickoff. Ooh, looking forward to that. NC State's playing Miami, so if NC State could upset Miami, that would be awesome after just upsetting Georgia Tech. Our third ranked-on-ranked matchup is going to be Iowa at USC. They were already at USC when they played Michigan for game day. And then a big 7:30 game, but game day has also already been to Georgia. It's going to be Texas at Georgia for the nightcap. Oh, baby. Honestly, I just hope that Georgia crushes Texas and everyone can shut up about Texas then. So yeah, it is going to be a great week. Last thing that I have about college football here, the Brian Kelly situation at LSU has become a little bit more interesting. Kelly lawyered up, obviously, and countered LSU buyout settlement of $30 million with $43 million instead of the full $54 million. Does LSU actually have a reason to not pay Kelly his full buyout if he's not asking for the full amount? That wrinkle that just came out on Tuesday afternoon is very interesting and something to keep an eye on. Oh, but okay, yes. Let's move on to week 10 of the NFL. Let's go, baby. So last Thursday night's game was the Raiders at the Broncos, and I have to mention the punt that landed at midfield and landed out of bounds at the half-yard mark for the Raiders. No, so it didn't land at the 50. It landed in the middle of the field at like the 1 or 2 yard line, bounced all the way out of bounds. That's 25 yards. That was one of the greatest punts I've ever seen. Now, the Broncos didn't make a fourth quarter comeback, but it's not like they still didn't contribute to some anxiety. It was 7-7 at halftime, and then the Broncos only had one field goal in the third quarter to win 10-7. The defense played out of their minds, and I bet they're a little bit pissed they allowed that first TD and didn't get the shutout. 6 sacks, an interception, and a blocked punt with a helmet. Got me 17 points in fantasy. Let's go. All right, we had some Sunday morning football, and it felt good. The Falcons were looking a little bit like they were going to upset the Colts. Nope. Jonathan Taylor. That's the only thing I have to say. 244 yards rushing with 280-some overall, and 3 touchdowns, the third being the game winner in overtime. The Colts won 31-25. Yeah, the Colts are the pretty ladies who want to take all the way to the Super Bowl. Okay, then immediately after the morning game, we had the Patriots at the Buccaneers, and I texted the group chat. I was like, all right, now's the time when I start drinking because I feel like the Patriots were going to get blown out. And Ngbuka, 2 catches for 45 yards and a touchdown on the first drive. Oh boy, it wasn't looking great. And May even started the game 2 for 7. So it was very bad, very fast. Luckily, the Patriots held the Bucs on the next couple of drives. And then Drake May with a great pass to Kyle Williams on the corner route. Oh my God. 72 yards. Pats tied the game up at 7. That was the Patriots' longest offensive play, not just this season, but in 4 years. They haven't gone more than 72 yards in 4 years. You have to be kidding me. The Buccaneers got a field goal later, and then the Patriots got all the way down to the 1 yard line. They took the chance to run out the clock, like Drake May went down purposely and lost a yard. I really liked that decision to run out the clock and just waste time. But what I didn't like was the next 2 plays. On second down, they ran, got nothing. On third down, they ran, got nothing. And then this motherfucker, Vrabel, had the balls to go for it on fourth down with like 3 seconds left in the half. He decided to go for it instead of just kicking the field goal. Oh my God. I have not felt that way for a Patriots game since the last time that they were in a Super Bowl. I was sitting there just anxiously, just like, oh, please, you have to score here. You have to score. And then it was giving me such bad anxiety. Not even such bad anxiety, but such bad like anticipation for what would happen on that fourth down play. And Diggs made a spectacular grab on a fantastic throw to take a 14-10 lead, toe tapper. Man, I think Vrabel just locked up the coach of the year after running out the clock and having the balls to go for it on 4th and 2. And if you didn't score there, it would have went to halftime, and you would have been down 10-7. You would have still been getting the ball back, but that would have been a huge momentum shift. May was 11 for 19 at the half, but he was 2 for 7 to start the game, like I said, and he was 9 for 12 since then. And what did the Patriots do on the opening drive of the second half? Henderson, 55-yard home run, 21-10. Let's go. And even Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the broadcast were like, all right, you gotta keep the pedal on the gas here. Like, let's just keep going. Keep your foot on the gas. Keep the pedal on the gas. So the Pats got the Bucs to punt, but then they decided to go with 2 runs right up the middle for a total of 2 yards. and an incompletion on an obvious passing situation on third down on the next drive. It was a 3-and-out for them. And it took him 10 minutes in between the Patriots touchdown and this next touchdown. But Tez Johnson caught the touchdown to make it 21-16 after a missed 2-point attempt. But the Pats really just did nothing for a while. Like offensively and defensively, they were put in work. But everyone was going down like goddamn flies out there. That was very concerning. I mean, thank God Henderson and Jones were able to come back into the game. But at one point, we had like a player down on every other play. It was really bad. And what was even more concerning was that on the Patriots' next drive in the fourth quarter, they made it all the way down to the end zone, and May threw a very, very bad pick. That one should have absolutely just been thrown out of bounds. They were blowing it with half of the fourth quarter to go. And at that point, Sean Tucker was the first running back to go over 50 yards against the Patriots, and he only ended up finishing with 53, though, so it's not like he did much after he got to 50 yards. But with the Bucs driving on that next drive that they had, the Patriots got the stop. I could not believe it. The Patriots were going to win. So the Patriots got the ball back, still up 21-16. And then, what the hell does Travion Henderson do? He breaks away for another home run. Oh, it was a great run. And he even had time to ask the coaches on the sideline if he should go down or not. He looked over. He was like imagine Dash at the end of The Incredibles when he's in the actual race against other just normal kids. He really had time to look over and be like, should I go down or not? And apparently the coaches told him that he could score because he did. He ran right in 147 yards, 2 touchdowns, breakout game for Travion Henderson. It was 28-16. And here were the blockers on that run, leveling 5 Bucs players. One of them was Tonga, who was awesome in every single package that he was in. He did a great job of beating his defender. But you know what? Maybe he should have gone down. The Bucs got another touchdown to Tez Johnson to make it 28-23, and they had time for an onside kick. But who else other than Stephon Diggs, who is actually confirmed to be having a 4th baby with a 4th woman after Cardi B. He is a dog. Let's go. Patriots are 8-2. I cannot believe it. They won 28-23. Oh, I'm at 100 out of 10 right now. Vrabel is saying NFC South champs after sweeping the division. Let's go. NFC South champs. NFC South champs. So all in all, this was just an all right game from May. He was 16 for 31 with 271 yards and 2 touchdowns and an interception, only completing 5 out of 12 passes in the second half. He was due to have a clunker, but even in a clunker, they beat a very good team. Hell yes. Oh, and Justin Tucker's 10-week suspension is up now, so thank God Borregales is panning out, because we might have had to sign Justin Tucker, and the jokes would have been endless between him and Robert Kraft. At that point, they may as well have just brought in Watson just for the hell of it. So when this goes up on Thursday, Gronk will have already signed his one-day contract to retire a Patriot, and he will be the keeper of the lighthouse in tonight's Thursday night game against the Jets. Let's go. All right, let's move on to the Giants and Bears. It was snowing in Chicago. What? It was raining everywhere else. Snowing in Chicago. I didn't watch this game at all, but the Giants are now 0-4 when leading by at least 10 points in road games this year. Dart was concussed for the 3rd time this year in such a short span, and the Bears came back to win it 24-20 on a Williams rushing touchdown. Brian Dable was obviously fired on Monday for this one. Not surprising at all, and I'm shocked that he made it as long as he did. And with Jackson Dart in concussion protocol, the team announced on Wednesday that Jameis Winston will be starting against the Packers. Bears won 24-20, and Chicago is rolling. They're 6-3 right now. All right, Bills at the Dolphins, and like I said, I didn't really watch any of the other 1 o'clock slate games. Usually I'm on Red Zone at 1 o'clock, but I solely focused on this Patriots game against the Buccaneers, and I was shocked to tune in and find out at halftime that the Bills were down 13-0. What? Allen had an interception and a fumble in crucial moments, and the Dolphins and HN just put this one away. The Dolphins won 30-13, which gives the Pats an even bigger lead in the division. The Dolphins were hyped up in the locker room after this one. Maybe keeping McDaniels wasn't such a bad idea after all. I mean, this Bills team really is just bad. What did they expect when Shakir and Coleman were your top 2 targets? That's crazy. Khalil Shakir, really? All right, Ravens at the Vikings. The Vikings defense was doing a great job at containing Lamar early. It was 10 to 9 at halftime, but too bad JJ McCarthy sucks. That's 2 picks for him. When JJ McCarthy has to throw the ball 42 times and the lead rusher has 58 yards, that's not good. The Ravens beat the Vikings 27 to 19. So the only thing that I have here for the Browns at Jets was that the Jets were really up 17 to 14 at the half after trading away Sauce and Williams. And the Jets really won this game. Damn. They beat the Browns 27 to 20, but they did it because of their special teams. Without those special teams touchdowns, it would have been 20 to 13, but the Jets won 27 to 20. Okay, Saints at Panthers. I cannot get a good read on the Panthers at all, man. What the fuck are they doing? I understand that it was a division game, but you lost 17 to 7 to the Saints, and Tyler Shuck. Now, I will be honest, not gonna lie, Tyler Shuck has an arm. Holy shit, that was a great throw to I believe Olave. The Saints beat the Panthers 17 to 7. I did not expect that. Okay, Texans Jaguars at the Texans. The Jags were rolling very early with no wide receivers, but I completely tuned out of the game. What happened? Davis Mills with a rushing touchdown to give Houston the lead. What a monumental collapse from the Jaguars. They scored nothing in the fourth quarter, and the Texans scored 26 to win it. Energy Stadium was rocking on the Jags' last drive, and there was a big man touchdown to end it. T-Law was intercepted, and Rankins returned it. The Texans won 36 to 29. Who had the worst loss, the Jags or the Giants? It might be the Jags. All right, so that was it for the 1 o'clock slate, and then this 4 o'clock slate gave no one any reason to watch. Cardinals Seahawks. Some Cardinals news. Kyler Murray was put on IR last week. He will never escape the COD allegations. Black Ops 7 just came out on the 14th, and this was just bad for the Cardinals. The Seahawks were up 14-0 just over 5 minutes in, and JSN had 2 catches for 51 yards and a touchdown, and it was 28-0 at the start of the second quarter. My God. So yeah, I have barely anything for these. Seahawks won 44-22. Rams beat the 49ers 42-26. Stafford threw his 400th touchdown pass. For the Lions-Commanders game, this game was the most competitive in the first half of the late games, with the Lions up 22-10 at that point. And then I looked over. I thought that I was seeing something that had been previously played from like weeks ago or even years ago maybe. Trump was on the broadcast. He was on the Lions-Commanders broadcast. Oh my God. Yes, I'm going to shut this game down right now. If you don't name the new stadium after me right now. I mean, it's embarrassing enough. You're getting your asses handed to you. Commanders, just give up and name it Trump Stadium. It's still, again, so bad. But Gibbs had 3 touchdowns in this game, and there's some flip-flopping back and forth between him and Montgomery. Gibbs was one of the big 3 running backs that scored over 38 points this week, one being him, HN, and then the other being Jonathan Taylor, who scored 54.6 points in our league because we give a 5-point bonus to a 200-yard rushing game. And Shane still wasn't the highest scorer this week, even though he had Jonathan Taylor. Actually, Jonathan Taylor almost matched his score last week when Shane played me. Shane had 61 total points last week, and Jonathan Taylor had 54.6 for him. Wow. Steelers-Chargers. Chargers won 25-10. That was a rough game from Rodgers with 2 interceptions. The garbage time touchdown made it closer than it actually was. Eagles at the Packers. Was that the worst half of football ever? Just 208 total yards between the two teams and a fumble apiece, with 48 yards passing from Hurts and 20 from Jordan Love. What was that? I went to sleep in the third quarter after the Eagles got their first field goal. And because I was like, I have a feeling this one's going to go into overtime. The Packers were driving, and it almost did happen. The Packers missed a field goal, a 64-yard field goal, albeit, that would have tied the game at 10 to send it to overtime. No fucking way in hell. I'm so glad I went to sleep when it was 3-0. But oddly enough, we had a 10-7 game to start the week and a 10-7 game to end the week. I posed this question on Reddit. I said, when was the last time the same score happened at the start of the week and the end of the week? According to this Redditor that answered my post, the last time this happened was week 11, in 1972 on Thanksgiving, and then the following Monday, because Thursday Night Football didn't officially start till 2006. So 1972 was the last time that they had a game with the same score at the beginning of the week and the same score at the end of the week. That's kind of crazy. Okay, but yeah, like I said 1,000 times, the Jets are playing the Patriots tonight, wearing the rivalries jerseys. Let's go. Commanders at Dolphins is going to be the game on Sunday morning in Spain, in Madrid. Panthers, Falcons, Buccaneers, Bills. That's going to be a good game. I hope. Who knows? Maybe the Buccaneers will just blow out the Bills. Bills are struggling. Texans, Titans, Bears, Vikings, Packers, Giants, Bengals, Steelers, Chargers, Jags, Seahawks, Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Ravens, Browns, Chiefs, Broncos. I'm kind of excited to see what the Broncos defense can do against the Chiefs. Broncos defense has been rolling. And then big game, Lions at the Eagles on Sunday night. That's what the Sunday night game should be. And then we got the Cowboys at Raiders to round out the week on Monday night. And since we're on the Cowboys, rest in peace to Marshawn Kneeland. I struggle a lot with my mental health. I've never spoken about it on the podcast, but just recently I starting to get help for it because it was becoming unmanageable without talking to someone. You need to talk to someone. I was always of the mindset that I could handle anything that came at me by myself. Didn't need anyone. What could anyone else do for me that would get me through a hard time? But there's a lot. It's a lot more helpful than you think it would be. Just talking things through. Maybe having someone else there to be like, no, this is not the end of the world. So just rest in peace to Kneeland. That is extremely unfortunate. Okay, that is it for this week. I am recording on Wednesday, so I just want to get this one done. Make sure to leave a like and comment on each video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hoagies and Pierogis is available on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram for clips throughout the week and updates if need be. And thank you very much. We'll leave you with this. Much. Recorded in Central Pennsylvania in front of a live studio audience with your host Ian DiCarlo. This is Hoagies and Pierogis.